to Oops, All Apocalypses, a show where we explore the collapse of society by playing fun, tabletop role-playing games. I'm your host, Stu Masterson, and I'm joined by my two long-lost children.
One of which has been long lost for quite a while.
Hey. I thought you were going to say more things about me being lost.
That's for after introductions.
Yeah, I thought that was you introducing yourself.
Hey, everybody. This is Brady, also known as Long Lost Child 2. I play Book McCready, the mysteriously missing investigator. Try to make that N sound like an M. Well,
it's an I.
Who's been taking a nice little snooze while Ocean goes through his little vision stuff.
And I'm Jacob, the slightly less long lost child, and I play Ocean, a gentle giant who, in a flashback, seems to be pretty darn good at menial chores.
Nice. Do you know how long it's been since we've all recorded an intro together?
It's been a hot minute.
There's two ways to look at it. One way, it's been a little over a month, like a month and a week, which is pretty long. But also, since then, I've gone to Hawaii for a week. Brady's gone to Hawaii for a week. Jacob moved across the country. Me and Brady did a bunch of other work trips.
I went to Virginia
other
twice.
Work trips, multiple funerals, 2 birthdays.
Yeah.
2 revisions to the Apocalypse World Burn River rules. And then like an assassination attempt and a new presidential candidate and some like VP picks and stuff like that. But
God, it's been a rough week. It's been a rough couple weeks, hasn't it?
Yeah.
And I went to Gen Con, so that was fun.
Oh, yeah. And Jacob went to Gen Con, and none of the things I just listed actually overlapped like at all.
Yeah. We had a good week gap between pretty much all of these things.
Jacob went to Gen Con with unofficial merch, which I'm a little salty about.
I did. I put stickers up in places.
Bootleg merch.
Did you wear that same shirt every day?
No. So actually, I went with one of my friends, and he, like a good boy, bought some of our merch a little while back. So what we did is we alternated. So on one day I repped Oops All Apocalypse. On the next day he repped it.
Nice.
And then we let each of our shirts, we cleaned our shirts because Gen Con you get pretty darn sweaty.
Pretty gross. Yeah. I was hoping you added that part.
Yeah. So basically I would wear it, take a day off, clean my shirt. He would wear his, he'd take a day off, clean his shirt. I would wear mine. So all 4 days we were covered for Oops All Apocalypse. Nice.
I appreciate your planning. He sounds like a better host than you. We should swap him out.
Yeah, he really is.
Get him
he
on.
really is. A lot better planning. Kelsey's also much better at this too. We should just cut out both of us and just have Kelsey and Steven on.
Who's both of us? Are you lumping me
I'm
in with
lumping
you?
you in. You ain't been around for the last month.
I haven't been around. I had a good excuse though, and I'll tell you this much: I have at least one of every single piece of our merch.
That's you too. It's
and
impressive.
when I say at least one, I have like 8 of each.
It's very impressive.
And I only missed one intro where you guys did terrible impersonations.
I thought we did a great job.
They were pretty good.
I thought we did a great job.
To compliment you guys, Brady did really good at my thank you so much for listening that I do at the end. And then Jacob did really good at my welcome part.
Yeah.
Both of you, Brady didn't nail the welcome very good. And then Brady's accents were generally terrible.
Yep.
You made me sound like either a complete Midwesterner or like that guy from Portlandia.
I was trying to. I wasn't really focusing on your accent so much as I was trying to get your like cadence, because you have very unique cadence. But I don't think I did a good job at that either.
I think between the two of us, we managed to make a half decent Stu impersonation.
Yeah, and with your questions to the answers were all perfect though. Speaking of questions to answers, this week we have a BuzzFeed Presents Apocalypse presented by our own prodigal son, Brady.
All right, everybody.
He's been thinking about this for 2 months, so this is going to be really good.
This week's BuzzFeed Presents Apocalypse. Your question is... No, it's BuzzFeed Presents Apocalypse.
I like BuzzFeed Presents Oops All Apocalypse.
Too long.
I'm with Brady for the first time ever.
Damn.
Okay, your question is, you are flung back in time to the Cretaceous period, where the T-Rex and the Triceratops and the Brachiosaurs, they did not coexist at the same time, I don't think, but let's pretend they all did.
Okay. In the magical time period where all dinosaurs exist.
What 3 pieces of modern technology would you bring back with you to survive?
Did you say Cretaceous period?
I said Cretaceous.
Oh, okay. I was gonna make
which
a lot
is
of crab
like
jokes.
like
okay.
I know Jurassic Park. It says like Jurassic Park, but the Jurassic period was not when the T-Rex was around.
So the age of the dinosaurs.
Indeed. 3 things that I would take back with me.
Or that book would take back.
Oh, right. Shit. Okay, it's got to be book.
It's the same as you. Don't try to pretend it's not.
But you gotta word it
Really,
like it's
it is
Brady.
different. Book and I have very different skills. Okay. Book would bring back Dinosaur Dictionary just so that he knows what he's up against.
Okay, that's a great choice.
Absolutely useless. Love it.
Next thing he's gonna bring back is like maybe like a really high end, like top of the line crossbow. Because like you can't bring back like 1,000 bullets. You know what I'm saying? You get 3 items.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So you can make.
So you're gonna have a crossbow with no arrows. Perfect. Wonderful, Brady.
Yeah, no, but you can make arrows.
Yeah, for a high-powered crossbow, sure thing. Good luck with that whittling. I'd love to see that shatter in your fists as you squeeze the trigger.
Maybe a
You want
longbow would be a better choice.
Yeah, recurve longbow, and then you can at least make all those arrows.
Okay, recurve bow and a longbow are 2 different types of bows. The reason I went with crossbows because I felt like that was more manageable for someone such as Book, and it's also easier to make something straight that's short than a long arrow. Anyway, last thing you gotta have like a good knife. I think like I don't think you can really get far really anywhere without a solid knife.
I like it. I think those are some good options.
A lighter might have been good.
Fire would be very useful, but
Fire
it's too
would
late
be
now.
useful.
You'd
a
have
canister of propane.
you have a nice crossbow to hit things with. You got a knife. You could tape your knife to the end of it.
There you go.
That'd be a pretty good weapon. No, I think those are good choices. It's hard with only 3, but I also don't want 5. Don't try to give me more.
So for Ocean would bring first choice his tactical shovel. You can do a lot of shit with a tactical shovel. It's his knife, it's his digger, it's a weapon, it's all really anything you really want it to be.
Yeah, it's probably good an axe as well.
Yeah.
It's battered
exactly,
to shit.
exactly. It's got a serrated edge. You can use it as a saw. So
That's actually a good answer.
yeah,
Fuck.
he's gonna bring his tactical shovel. Second thing he's gonna bring is a telescope. Because a telescope, he can look at things from super far away, and additionally, he can use it to capture light to start fire.
Start fire. Nice.
Wow.
And the third
Very
thing he's
good.
gonna bring,
Holy shit, dude.
third thing Ocean brings, is a crank charge flashlight.
That's the meta build, dude.
Ocean's a survivalist. He knows how to
I
thrive in the
don't love
dark.
the hand crank flashlight, if I'm being honest, but I love
No,
everything
I think
else.
that's really good.
I couldn't think of. I was thinking of like a solar powered flashlight, but I don't think those exist. So
Yeah.
and I don't know if Ocean would know what a solar powered anything would be. So
Also, I do want to say, any of us could have. Let's go first.
Yeah, let me go first. Don't spoil it. I'm still trying to come up with the best answer, which the first thing I'm bringing is the largest industrialist generator that can be powered by like cranking or anything, even if it takes forever to charge it. I just need a lot of power for a short amount of
you
time.
can tame one of the dinosaurs to crank it for you, right?
Yes, this may be a sort of Flintstones, it's a living situation, but I'm going to have a generator that needs to power pretty extensive things for a short amount of time, because my next option is a largest that you could physically buy, probably movie theater size screen that I'm going to purchase. And then to bring it together, I'm going to get a Raspberry Pi with an emulated N64 on it and play Turok Dinosaur Hunter. And no dinosaurs will ever try to bring me down, because they will see that I know how to slay them. I don't need a knife, because they're going to see live action video of me absolutely destroying dinosaurs.
That's pretty good. That's pretty smart right there.
That's
I
great.
can't argue with any of those choices.
That's great. Any of us probably could have said a tank.
Yeah,
That
we
was
could
a
also
little
set a
bit.
time machine so we
You
could just
probably
leave.
power your generator. Like you could have gotten a car, Stu, and powered your projector with the car.
For one tank of gas, yeah. And then I have to wait for the dinosaurs to die.
Yeah, but
Shove
don't
them
you
in the
know
fuel tank.
gas is made of dinosaurs? Just wait
Oh,
65
that's it.
million
You shoot,
years.
you hunt some dinosaurs, put them in your tank. It'll work.
Oh, actually, what I would bring personally,
It's illegal to answer it as yourself. I'll out very briefly.
I would want to bring something that would be like unmistakable in the fossil record. just to completely fuck with people.
Like a Game Boy Advance.
The Statue of Liberty. Like I want something that would persist. No, it would have to have some sort of like beacon aspect to it. I don't know. A satellite. I would bring the ISS.
You should have done an iron etched version of our logo so people would find it in the future.
Smart.
Yeah,
Free guerrilla marketing. Books Nook of Book Takes.
Oh.
Welcome back, everybody, to this week's episode installment of Books Nook of Books Take. Books Nook of Book Takes. I can't speak, and I'm your host, Book McCready. What do we have this week, Stu?
This week we have a post-apocalyptic show that I started watching like 10 years ago and only watched the first season of it. And then very recently I finished it. Back when I originally watched it, I don't think it was very popular. I think it kind of picked up steam, but it is the show Last Man on Earth, which is
heard of this.
Freaking good. It is amazing.
I haven't seen it, but I've heard really good things about it. I've heard it's really funny.
If you don't like Will Forte, you almost certainly won't like it. If you don't like really embarrassing, cringy humor, you probably, the first season's going to be a struggle for you. It gets better in that sense, but I also do enjoy that humor very much. So it was just extra goodness.
So it's like the first season Office kind of vibes.
I don't know what this genre is, but it's my favorite thing, and I'm going to use a really bad example or a really not well acclaimed media example and then a better, less known example, but it's the Meet the Parents type movie where the main character generally is doing kind of the right thing with maybe like just a little bit of lying, hiding stuff a little bit, but stuff just keeps rolling up and getting worse for him as the movie goes on. Just terrible things. The best example of that is the increasingly poor decisions of Todd Margaret, which I think was an IFC show.
I've never heard
one of
that.
my favorite, but has David Cross in it.
I love David Cross.
It's exactly what the title says. It's just him just keeping doing dumb stuff as it gets worse and worse. And that's definitely how the first season of Last Man on Earth goes, where Will Forte's character just keeps lying for generally no reason, as he is, as the title says, at least one of the last men on Earth. But generally the show evolves really well. Like, it's a really good story of people having to survive in their own little society they build up and trying to survive a lot of the post-apocalyptic horrors that we love here. But one of the unique things about it is that, like, a lot of the comedy of the show comes from him just setting up these situations where you're pretty much have unlimited useless resources. So like all the stuff you would find in a Walmart is still there. So he'll do things like crash cars together for fun or make bowling with Jeeps and explosive barrels and stuff like that. That is always enjoyable to watch. But I think it's also a very heartfelt, good show that is very funny. So definitely go watch it.
I might have to check it out. I've heard good things.
I told Brady one of the jokes from it that I won't spoil here, and he thought it was the funniest thing.
And I've told 3 other people that jokes.
Even out of context, it's pretty funny, but in context, it's...
I love Will Forte, so I'll probably really much like it.
Okay, then you'll love it. And with that, Books Nook of Book Takes, we are in, I believe, a crazy flashback right now, depending on how all this editing goes. So we're going to roll on right back to that action. Last episode, a whole lot of things happened. If you don't know, just go listen to the last one. But all you really need to know is that right now we are in one of Ocean's flashbacks to his past, back when he was a silent working for the Tower. And he is currently trying to figure out what happens to the Tower's captives after a little bit. They all seem to just kind of disappear. And that is of particular importance because Book's father, Charles McCready, is one of the current prisoners. So Ocean's trying to get down to the bottom of that mystery. That's not what your class is supposed to do. Kind of mean we're doing all the mysteries when Book can't play, especially about his family. But anyway, you were currently in an editing room where you saw thousands of images flashing on screens, and you were interrupted by a ding of the elevator, implying someone is about to step off and catch you in an area that you're really not supposed to be in.
Is there anywhere to hide? It's just a bunch of terminals, right?
Yeah, there's desks. It's not a good hiding spot. They're like big modern desks with like...
Is it a dark room?
Yes-ish, except there's 1 billion screens that are all flashing constantly.
Seizure-inducing lights. Okay.
Yes.
Ocean stands up, goes over to the elevator, and is acting like he's pushing the button to go up when it opens to try and like play it nonchalantly.
Okay, give me an act under fire. This is being cool.
Heights under fire is cool. That's an 8.
You open the door, or the door opens automatically as you're pushing the button, and someone seems super surprised you're here.
Yeah, Ocean stumbles back. Oh, sorry about that. When he opens it.
Oh, and they kind of step back. They move and let you in. And then right as the doors are closing, they turn and there's like a look of recognition on their face, like they recognize you. But the doors close. But you think this person knew who you are, and it does seem like someone you've seen around. You can't quite pinpoint it, but maybe just in the cafeteria. But if you had to guess, it's someone who's seen you in your normal silent gear at some point.
Ocean stops and kind of listens like, I recognize you. Have you and I met?
Yeah, I've seen you around here. Why are you in here?
I was just walking around, I was checking the recording studios out, and I think I got a little lost on the elevator floors. I think I got mixed up with another one. I'm trying to head up to the cafeteria.
Yeah, this is not a room that most people would want to be in. I try to limit my time in here. I get splitting migraines all the time.
Yeah, it made me sick. I could only really tolerate it. I opened it, saw what was going on, and I pretty much immediately decided this was time for me to go.
Okay, give me sway someone.
Come on. 7.
It's too late now, but this is going to affect how long before this person tells people that you were in here. Yeah, so with a 10, it would have been probably never. With a mixed success, it's going to be when it's convenient to them. They're not going out of their way to go, oh, this is an emergency, but they're certainly going to go
suspicious.
I saw Ocean in the editing room. What's with that? So for now, you seem okay. The elevator doors close.
He's going to play it off like he's going to the cafeteria. Hits the cafeteria button and says, where you heading?
He was coming out to go into the editing room.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, you could have just let him pass without saying anything.
Okay.
That's how elevators work. They don't stop at every point.
That's true. Well, at the very least, it play it off like a little bit like it's no big deal. Okay. So at the point when he's Ocean, while he's in the elevator still, he makes a play of putting the cafeteria button before he steps out. But once he steps out once he steps out and the door is closed, he hits the button for the floor that he saw in the metadata.
As it starts moving there, you realize that the directory does not have anything marked for that floor, but it is letting you go there. And this could be any freaking channel. Sorry, I just realized you're in the editing room.
That's okay. Whatever channel you feel would be fun.
The elevator goes down and eventually dings open, and you are on a soundstage where the majority of it is taken up by a large fake courtroom. And there's a big sign that says Judge Judy's courtroom.
Ocean looks around and sees if there's any terminals or something that he can look through, or any signs of people that are here.
Yes. In the courtroom, there's someone who looks just like Judge Judy sitting at Judge Judy's desk. There are a defendant and a plaintiff and people in the crowd, and they are all talking, clapping, doing an episode of Judge Judy.
Okay.
You find the cameras and there's stuff being recorded by them, but everything seems to be pretty much automated. Yeah. Okay. Ocean
sits in a corner while where he's a little bit off to the side and not super noticeable, and watches the episode and waits to see what happens when it ends.
Great idea. Okay. Don't think there's any role for this. No one knows you're here yet. You're literally just sitting in a corner and watching. Seems pretty low key. The episode of Judge Judy ends dramatically, where you realize the defendant is going to get custody of the cute little dog that they were arguing about. Then as you're watching, the entire set dissolves away.
Oh shit.
And all that's left is one person who is sitting in the crowd who collapses down on the ground unmoving.
There's nobody else in the crowd?
No one else in the crowd. Literally one person who was just sitting in a random spot in the crowd collapses down to the ground unmoving.
Ocean rushes to that person and puts his hands on him and says, hey, you okay?
They are breathing. They kind of half open their eyes and like groggily look at you, very confused, but they don't say anything.
Do I notice any obvious injuries or anything like that?
Nope. They look great.
Okay, we're going to try something real fucky here just to see what happens, because I have a theory, and I think this is a perfect opportunity. Ocean puts his hands on him. I'm going to healing touch him.
Give me that weird roll. Just don't fail.
7.
And you purge
disease, and I think take the pain away. I think those were the 2 that I did when I cured those silent way back when.
Yeah, that's way back in the future. But
yeah, way back in the future. They ignore that. Present Ocean doesn't know that happened, but
immediately his eyes go wide and he looks terrified and he goes, where am I? What's going on?
You're in the recording studio. You're recording an episode of Judge Judy. What happened? Why'd you just pass out like that? Where'd everybody else go?
I gotta do the next show. Well, no, why? Why am I here? And he is like completely baffled, looking around. And while that's happening, a set starts materializing around you.
Oh shit! Ocean grabs him and pulls him off the set.
Okay, yeah, you go and pull him away. And as it comes up, it's Judge Joe Brown. And there's now an empty spot where it looks like that person was sitting. And the people around him look confused. They're kind of looking at that empty spot and like looking over their shoulder. And like eventually someone kind of just scoots more into that area. But the episode starts and it just goes along like a normal Judge episode. I chose something intentionally boring so I won't have to play myself.
Yeah. Ocean looks at the guy and says, what happened? What are you doing here?
I do judge shows. I'm an audience member, but I don't know why.
How long do you work here at the tower?
The tower? What's the tower?
It's where you're at.
No, I do Judge Judy, Judge Joe Brown, People's Court.
Where do you think you are?
People's Court. No, Judge Joe Brown. He's looking up at the sign. Judge Joe Brown. I got to be in that seat.
What do you remember?
Where am I?
Do you remember coming to the tower? When did you start doing Judge Joe Brown and Judy and other law shows?
I've always done them.
You can't have always done them.
Yeah, that's what I do.
When do you eat? When do you sleep?
I don't think I do those things. It doesn't make any sound because that would disrupt the recording. But above the applause sign, there's a little alert sign that starts glowing red.
Uh-oh. Ocean kind of stands up and this helps him kind of stand. He looks for like the recording terminal, like the camera or something, or is there like a terminal or something where does it look like a projection at all?
You don't see anything.
Ocean puts his hand on the wall that the recording is going through and he's going to do things speak.
Give me that weird roll. That's a good one. I like it.
7, which means I pick exactly 1, I think. I'm going to go with who made this?
Ooh.
I think that'll give me some information.
You put your hands on this wall, and like every time you think speak, your brain shoots through the history of this. And for a second, it looks just like those editing rooms you were in as it flickers through millions of different scenes of different TV shows, all of them courtroom reality TV shows. And you see the creation of this stage, and there are dozens of people walking around here, normal human ass looking people, no one wearing the kind of standard clothing of the tower, certainly no one wearing the silent get up, but they all have these little badges on them that say Subterranean Broadcasting Company, and they are working assembling this stage. It seems like an entirely bygone era. Like these people are using technology you've never seen before.
Yeah, this was a long time ago.
Setting it all up and seem very pleased and happy with themselves when it all gets working. And they start filming their first show ever, which is none of the shows I've talked about today. It's some new original nice courtroom show.
Judge Mackenzie Davis.
Yes. Some different judge name pops up. It's much more orderly and structured where they have people with nice safety badges on, keeping the extras out of the area while they crunch some numbers on the side, turn some dials, and the courtroom materializes itself. And they all go and sit down in their different booths. And 3, 2, 1, action. Boom, and you snap back to it.
So it's like a holodeck.
Yeah, like a holodeck.
Huh. That's dope. But Ocean turns to the guy again and says, what's your name? Can you tell me that?
Yes, I can at least do that. I am enthusiastic attendance member number 3.
Ocean shakes his head, just ignores that his listed his name. Is like, okay, I need you to think really hard for me here. When did you start working as an extra in the crowd?
I don't know. I've been in at least 150 episodes of Judge Joe Brown and probably twice that for Judge Judy. So however long it takes to film those. He doesn't seem very confident about that answer.
And he kind of holds him again. It's like, okay, one last question, then I'll go let you do whatever it is you do.
Get to my spot, yeah.
What did you do before that? Did somebody give you this job? Did somebody do something to you?
I did something. I was underground. Yeah, I was in a bunch of caves. Don't know what I was doing in those caves though. But I had to be real young. I can't even remember that. But yeah, I was maybe a spelunker. I think I was a professional spelunker.
Okay. Well, go enjoy filming your Judge Joe Brown.
Thank you. I was worried I would get in trouble. And give me a act under fire to see how smooth and efficiently this went.
Full success, 12 total.
When he goes and sits back down, the alert light turns off.
That's what I was hoping would happen.
It wouldn't have if you didn't roll a 10. So good work.
Good. Thank you, Dice. You betrayed me earlier for quite some devastating results, but I think at this point, Ocean suspects that Oakbook's dad is in for a terrible, terrible future. So at this point, I think it's probably nighttime. He's been kind of planning a lot. It's probably later that evening. And he's been thinking about everything that's happened. And he takes out a piece of paper and a pen and writes a note to Kara. I'm going to write... I'm not even going to say her name in it just in case somebody catches it. It's just a note I'm going to put on her, like a pillow or something. And it's just going to say, something I have to do. I'll try my best to be back soon. Don't look into it too much. I'll be fine.
Smash cut. The detainment area. How are you dealing with the one guard there?
Ocean just wave. He's going to walk in acting like it's like he's just coming in for a visit. So he's got the Scrabble board with him. He's walking in.
You walk in, you're able to get to Charles's room, opens up, and he is sleeping.
I shake him. Say, Charles, wake up.
Hey, Ocean, everything okay?
Look, I don't know what's going on here. I don't know if this tower is good. I don't know if what they're doing is bad. All I know is I'm going to get you out of here.
Hell yeah. Okay, what's the plan?
I haven't thought that far yet.
Well, shit.
Ocean looks. There's literally only one way to get through the guard?
Only entrance to pretty much every floor is the elevator, and the guard desk is right in front of it.
Give me 1 second. He grabs a Scrabble board and he walks back out and he goes up to the guard and says, hey, have you, we're missing a couple pieces. Have I dropped any around here?
Give me a slice, someone.
Oh, that's a 12.
Hell yeah. He goes, I don't know. Let me go look. And he opens a drawer and gets his flashlight out.
When he turns down and leans over, I'm going to bash him over the head with the Scrabble board to knock him out.
Okay, yeah, he bends down to reach into his drawer to get a flashlight, and you bash him on the head. Just give me an attack, someone.
Normally, I'm good at it. That's a 9.
Yes, choose one of those.
I guess get them out of your way. I mean, that seems relevant.
Crumples onto the ground, and you hear him like groaning.
Okay, I take him and I put him in Charles's cell.
Ah, nice. Okay, you do a swap-a-rooski. He is now in Charles's cell.
Yep, take his badge, swap his clothes, then I'm going to shut the cell. And after Charles changes, and well, actually not yet. Before doing that, Ocean is going to, because there's obviously some kind of recording camera. Looking around, is there any camera in the cell?
Yes.
Okay. Before that, just going back a little bit, backtracking just a bit, because I should have mentioned this beforehand. Ocean is going to casually take off his jacket, which I assume he's probably wearing, and put it over the camera to like hang it over.
Okay, yeah. You've blocked out the camera, but it is suspicious.
Yeah, very suspicious. But when somebody comes in, they're going to obviously know something is wrong. But
yes.
And then all that happens. And he changes Charles into the guard's clothes and changes the guard into Charles's clothes. And when he puts the guard down, he is going to have Charles stand outside, and he takes his jacket off the camera, and he's going to take a book that Charles probably has in there, and he's going to pat the guard looking like he's wishing him good night and put the book over his head.
Nice.
To cover the light for him. So that way it's less obvious it's not Charles.
Fairly ridiculous, but I don't think any rolls.
Yeah. Hey, I rolled back to back super well.
As you go outside or out the door, Charles goes, so you're not coming back from this, are you?
We'll find out. Right now, I'm somewhat doubtful, but I don't know. Just talking to you and everything I've seen lately, something feels wrong. There's one person in here I really want to help later, but I'll figure out how to contact her later. We got to get you out first.
Okay, to the elevator.
Okay, now here comes the part that's difficult. From Ocean's experience being in the tower, does he know, and his like security, all the security stuff and combat that he's done, does he know of like a back exit that they could take?
Yes-ish. So the 2 exits you know to the tower are the first floor, which goes through the lobby that you almost never go through anymore. You did that the first time you came here. The second one is the way you leave when you're doing your missions and stuff, which is through the basement. The first basement, there's a big ramp going out the back that there's actually huge metal doors you open. Humvees can actually go down here. There's like a mechanics lab in the basement. And that's also where your locker rooms are. And there are just normal doors to go out to. It doesn't have to be the big metal door. But you also know that's where all the silent people go.
Okay. And from what I remember about the front entrance, if I remember correctly, there wasn't anyone there, but it seemed like it was clearly monitored or something like that, right?
It was empty and filled with stretchers and IV equipment and stuff like that. But it is a huge lobby, like a big fancy bank lobby.
Actually, I think that might be the better route to go. I think that would give us more cover and avoid all the silent people. So I think Ocean is going to take him to the lobby then, and he is going to kind of duck through, and when they come out, knowing where the cameras are, he's going to try and kind of manipulate them the way that they're facing to avoid their faces getting caught by it.
Okay. Give me a get to work roll.
6. That's actually a 5.
You hit the L button, the lobby button, and the elevator starts going down. It feels slower than ever before as it's going down. It may or may not be, but it feels like it's crawling. You sense this like palpable excitement from Charles, but then he kind of shakes his head. Ocean, I told you this once before, and you eventually followed through, so I'm gonna ask you again. I need you to make me one promise.
Okay.
If this goes bad, just make sure you can get to Book. Don't worry about me. Getting to him is more important than this.
Well,
you can come back for me, just like you can come back for your other friend, but you can't come back for Book. There's a very small window here.
Okay. I'll do everything I can.
Thank you. And he shakes your hand. And then the lobby doors open up, and it doesn't look like you remember it.
Uh-oh.
It has weird emergency red lights, not like flashing or anything, but like in the hospital when the power went out.
Yeah.
It looks just like that. And as you try to creep around the edges where you know all these doors are, you hear a little ding and the elevator closes behind you and starts moving up. And you're trying to remain in the shadows when you hear a voice that Charles doesn't seem to react to. And it goes, "I'm very disappointed in you, Ocean."
Oh, shit. Oh, shit.
And the lights seem to get like 20% darker.
Ocean is going to ignore Ocean ignores the voice, and he keeps making his way towards the entrance with Charles.
Okay, give me a read a search roll.
7.
Ask me one question.
What is my best way out of the tower?
You hear underneath you Humvees roaring to life.
Oh, shit.
From the basement floor, one level underneath you.
Oh, shit.
And you know as you get out of this tower, you need to get somewhere they can't get ASAP.
So probably the long dark.
Yeah, you don't have a car, though. You're on foot, and they're in car.
That's a problem.
But you hear them roaring to life, and you think probably continuing cautiously, they'll be able to loop around before you get there. You have to basically sprint now.
Okay. Ocean grabs Charles like, we gotta move. We gotta move fast.
You run straight towards the door, running through the middle of the lobby, and shoulder the door open. The cold, dank air of Sotropolis greets you instead of the nice AC perfect climate controlled tower. And you hear those Humvees louder, and you see spotlights shining from around both sides of the tower. So if you're basically on one side of it, it seems like they're already coming around both sides from you.
Okay. Is there a building in the distance that we can probably duck into for cover?
Yeah, there looks like there's something right across the street.
Okay. Ocean points out the building. Is like, we're heading that way. We're going to try and lose them in the back, the alleys.
First, give me a get to work roll.
There we go. Finally, that's an 11.
An 11. You sprint, dragging Charles behind you by the wrist across the street and dive shoulder into this door that slams open and then slams shut behind it and relatches perfectly. And you find yourself in like a super busted, broken down like computer repair store, almost like a Radio Shack. And then you hear a voice in your head again. "I'm very disappointed in you, Ocean. Please return to the tower at your earliest convenience."
Ocean shakes his head and says, "How are you talking to me out loud?"
He goes, I'm trying to remain focused. Okay, Hamlet opening is kind of against that back wall. Eventually there's some switchbacks that will be able to get up there. Give me a read a switch roll.
That is another 7.
Okay, ask me one question.
What represents my best opportunity for us to lose them in Subtropolis? And how can I tell?
You think back and you realize the AI has known more about what you've been doing than you expected for most of this time. And you're worried that they know where you're trying to get. So you would need some way of either throwing them off or taking a circuitous enough route that they don't catch you. But they are in vehicles, so if they assume you're going to Hamlet opening, they're going to beat you there, right? At least someone.
Okay.
And you know there's multiple Humvees that have worked to life.
Is there a path to the Long Dark that I can navigate to, that we can duck into and use like the tunnels there?
Yes, it's not going to bring you. It's a very long route to take that and get to Hamlet opening.
I think that's
add like days to your travel. But yeah, you know, a crag that opens up into like a sub street that eventually connects up to the Long Dark.
Ocean turns to Charles and says, look, I don't think we have much of a choice. Those things will catch us really fast. We need to get into the Long Dark and lose them in the tunnels. That's the only way we're making it to Hamlet opening in one piece.
Okay, I believe you. Gotta go quick. Let's go.
Okay, let's go.
You go out the back of this building and this voice keeps repeating in your head and you start noticing like this high-pitched whine that starts really low, but it starts getting louder and louder as you're moving along, and it is incredibly distracting.
Ocean kind of clutches his head for a second and is like, do you hear that, Chuck?
No.
It's a high-pitched whine. It is killing me.
Just stay focused. We're almost there. And you're running through these tunnels. You hear a different motorized sound coming behind you down this kind of side tunnel. It's not a Humvee, but you hear it coming. And there's not a lot of offshoots, craggy areas in this. You're pretty much the only thin path. It's barely bigger, like 2 people can walk side by side.
Oh, shit.
So it's certainly not a car, but something's coming down here.
Oh, shit. Can I tell how fast it's going just judging by the noise?
Sounds pretty fast.
Okay.
It's getting louder quickly. Yeah. It's certainly not a low rumbly movement.
There's no real subshoots to jump off in, you said?
Not at this point.
Okay. No. Ocean grabs Charles and starts booking it down the path to try and get as far away from this rumble and hopefully find a place that he can jump off into the side.
Okay, give me another get to work.
That is another 7.
You run down this at a brisk pace and eventually find a little alcove you can kind of hunker down in where you think you have a chance this thing may just roar past you. And as you dive into that and you look over your shoulder, you actually recognize this vehicle. It's like a dirt bike, and there's a couple of them that the Silent have, but this one in particular has a distinctive front guard on it that is a nice crustacean with his hands in the air, clinking.
Oh no. Oh gosh, crab.
And he is zooming towards you. What would you do? You're like hunkered in a little bend. It's not even like a full alcove, but you think like the headlights wouldn't see you until as it's passing.
Oh, crab. Ocean turns over to Charles and says, stay low. And Ocean steps out so the dirt bike can see him.
It power slides to a halt, and you see Crab hop off, and he goes, dude, what the hell are you doing?
It's hard to explain, but I've got to get out of here.
There's gonna be more of us. I jumped out ahead because I figured you might take this way. Yeah, you gotta move quick. I can't fit both of you on this. I can try to slow him down, but I think that's gonna be really suspicious. What do you want me to do? I don't want to just leave you here.
Yeah, you've always been you've been a good friend to me, Crab. I just want you to know I'm not doing this because there's just something I gotta do, and I'll be back when I can. But he looks around and says, what if we make it look like I attacked you, and we can 2 people fit on the bike, you think?
Yeah, not comfortably, but
That's fine.
very nuzzled up.
Oh, she looks at him and says, can we steal this bike from you?
Yeah, you gotta make it look like you ambushed me though.
Okay. All right. You okay if I punch you in the face?
Yeah, I guess.
He kind of winds up his fist and says, love you, Crab. And he slugs him, and it's a 10.
He is wearing a helmet, so you may want to inflict terrible harm.
Yeah, that's what I was going to do, actually. I was going to inflict terrible harm, and I was going to impress, frighten, or dismay.
Okay, yeah, he collapses, and Charles goes, holy shit, that was quite a whopper. Yeah.
He wanted me to make it look real. He kind of looks at Crab and says, thank you, Crab.
No problem. Anytime.
And then he pulls Charles on the back of the bike and drives down.
Y'all zoom off. You're winding through the long dark, or this sub-street that leads up to the long dark. And you feel like you may be able to get there on time. But this whining keeps growing in your head until it's basically deafening. A few times Charles tries to talk to you, but over the roar of the dirt bike and this whining, you hear literally nothing. Give me a act under fire roll.
7.
Okay, I'm going to give you an option here because that's always funner.
I do like options, especially when they're 2 bad options. You got to logic out what's the better option.
The success on this is that you're going to be able to make it to the long dark. This whining, though, is going to cause some significant problem because it is incredibly distracting. So either you're going to lose track of where you're at and you're going to get lost once you get to the long dark, or you're going to take a tumble on the dirt bike and it's going to be roughly unusable and you'll have to walk.
I'm going to go with taking a tumble on the dirt bike.
You realize that you are almost at the long dark, that wonderful place that you know like the back of your hand, and are getting excited that you're almost there. And you forget that there is this big jutting rock that comes off at an angle that even when you're walking here, you have to kind of go off to the side. But in this pitch blackness, you don't see it coming and it catches your tire. And both of you go tumbling over the handlebars. Both of you take 1 armor piercing harm.
Okay.
Spokes are absolutely crunched. Tire's fucked. You definitely can't use this anymore.
Okay. So after we crash it, Ocean takes the bike and since it's broken, he wants to kind of wheel it, like make a tire track that he went one way and then throw the bike down it. So it looks like they wiped out down another path.
Okay. Yeah, that's pretty easy to do. That'll definitely get them off your trail. This whining still smashing through your brain, probably getting worse, but what are you doing?
I assume we're still in a time crunch. So Ocean helps Chuck back to his feet and says, "You really can't hear that whining?"
Nope, not at all. I think this may have something to do with that malevolent AI.
It's nonstop. It's been going since we left. But after that, he heads down the route that he knows is going to take him to Camelot Opening.
You are in the pitch black long dark with effectively no lights. You are wandering around. Give me a navigate the long dark roll.
Oh,
traverse the winding tunnels of the long dark roll.
That was a sharp?
Hard.
Okay, that's an 11.
Either you find something you didn't expect, you find something you did expect, or you avoid something blocking your path.
I'm going to avoid something blocking our path and find something we did expect.
What sort of things are you looking for? Doesn't mean I'll give it to you, but...
I'm going to say a cache of supplies that Ocean may have left down there on one of his missions. So that way he can grab a light and some food and maybe a pistol.
Yeah, you take a short detour off because you realize even with your knowledge of the long dark, this pitch black is going to be impossible to navigate. But luckily you have this cache that you have pre-planned for. Not exactly this situation, but you've run into some pretty bad scrapes and you've wanted to be able to have access to things without having to go all the way back to the tower. And this is a little place that you feel like is mostly only known to you. So there's a small boulder in front of this little crag that goes in that you push out of the way easily, and you find a big metal crate that you and Kara have set up to use your biometrics like it did from the when she first found you.
Yeah, the crate that I used initially.
Yes, you guys reworked on that to be able to make those biometrics work with that, and you put your hand on it and you find your normal supplies, whatever you say you got in there.
Hell yeah.
I guess mostly you want a small weapon to keep moving quickly.
Yeah, small weapon to keep moving quickly. A flashlight, maybe a couple flares, my tactical shovel.
Yeah, but then it won't be there when you find it later.
Oh, that's true. I'm going to leave it then. And some food, I think, like a couple days worth of rations.
Okay.
And I assume a bag to keep it all in there.
Nope, that sounds good. You reload back up. As you're heading back up through Long Dark, you now have your little flashlight to give you a little bit more guidance. This ringing is still just blaring in your head. You catch with plenty of time since you succeeded on your roll. You see up ahead, your flashlight glints off of something and you quickly turn it off and you more carefully move forward and you see there's a little campsite set up that has a couple people at it that are still awake. They have a little hand lantern, like an LED lantern, not a cool fire one. And they're just chatting, but it's 2 people who look like they're camped right in the middle of the freaking Long Dark where anyone would see them.
Do they have a vehicle?
Yeah. They do. They have a Jeep.
Okay.
And spray painted on the side are 2 dice.
Oh shit, it's these guys. Ocean looks at Charles and goes, how good are you hot wiring?
Quite good. I know exactly how all the electronics and the motor of a car work. I can get it done in no time.
You want to steal that Jeep?
I think we may have to. I'm not a big thief myself, but I would think we got to get there on time.
Okay. So using as a distraction them talking and the fact they're in the middle of the long dark and it's probably pretty dark, Ocean wants to stick to the darkness and kind of navigate to the side of the Jeep. Is this like one of those Jeep that doesn't have the top on?
Yeah, you could just hop right in. Yeah. Give me a act under fire.
It's a 7.
Okay, you guys are able to make it into the Jeep, but Charles, are you driving or is he driving?
I'll be driving. I think I'll drive.
So he's leaning over the center console, ripped out some stuff underneath the steering wheel, and he's starting to hotwire it. But before he's able to get it going, the lights turn on it from some of the connections he's doing. They like flicker on.
Oh shit.
And you hear what is that?
Oh fuck. Ocean grabs one of the flares and throws it in front of the two of them, like right in the fire.
Okay, to try to like distract them.
To give him a distraction and give Charles enough time to finish it up so he can bolt out.
Okay, give me a get to work.
That is an 11.
Hell yeah. Yes, they are like completely blinded, and you hear it roar to life.
Okay, the moment it roars to life, Ocean backs it up and tries to drive down as fast as he can to get out of there.
Okay, they're only going to get one opportunity to do some pot shots off on you. So give me one act under fire roll.
Okay. Act under fire is cool. What's my 9.
Bullets spray against the back. They seem to be shooting something that is inaccurate, but puts a lot of bullets out. So you get hit actually by a couple small bullets, but through the car, through the front seat that you're sitting against, you feel just this wetness on your back as it starts bleeding. Didn't seem to hit any important organs, but you do, accounting for everything, just take one arm.
Okay.
And you look over, and Charles also got hit like right at the collarbone, and he's kind of hunkered over. Seems like he's in a lot of pain. It didn't like pop a lung or anything, but he took a significant.
Once we got enough distance that Ocean can kind of take his hands off and kind of unfocus for a little while, he looks at Charles and says, all right, Charles, I'm going to do something strange, but bear with me here. And he puts his hand on Charles' shoulder and healing touch. I keep wanting to say lay on hands, but it's not right.
Yeah.
And I use healing touch.
Give me that weird roll.
It's a 9. So I'll mend the bones since she got shot in the collarbone and take the pain away.
He like shakes his head and you go, whoa, okay, we got to talk about that later.
I think it probably has something to do with the ringing I'm hearing in my head.
Yes, it does. As you do your healing touch, it does kind of get even sharper and piercinger, if that's a word, more piercing. It's at a level now where you feel like it could not get any louder, like literally could not get louder, but somehow it gets sharper and more painful as you do that, as you try to stay focused and move forward. Oh, that feels much better. Oh shit. Hey, I don't know if these cultist people are taking care of their clocks, but I think it's tomorrow.
What do you mean? What's tomorrow?
He points at the little digital clock in front of him on the car that you just hotwired, and it is flashing that it's like 4:30 a.m.
Oh shit. We're still a ways from Hamlet opening. Maybe, what if instead of heading to Hamlet opening, we try and catch Margaret before she leaves?
We do. We have to stop Margaret before she heads up there. We don't know what it's like up there anymore. And I guess we can go to her, and maybe that'll throw some of the silent off our track. I think
if they've been listening to our conversations, they know we're heading to Hamlet opening.
Yeah, I'm definitely worried about leading them there. If we come back in force with Margaret and Novella, then I think we'll figure something out. I don't know what we're going to do tomorrow or next week, but we got to get to Margaret. We have to stop her.
Okay. Let's head to the baffles then.
Give me a act under fire roll.
Act under fire? Oh. That's cool. That's a 6. That's a 6.
This piercing sound like completely overtakes you. You cannot focus on anything else. So as you're rolling, you actually take your foot off the gas and try to like shake your head and stay focused, but your vision is like closing in all around you. Would you do anything to try to fight this off? I don't know what you can do.
I don't know what I can do, but I think when that starts happening, Ocean just sounds like, Charles, I need you to take the wheel. I'm really not feeling good.
And he goes, yeah, just like lay down in the back seat.
And he swaps places and kind of lays down and tries to kind of ground himself and focus on anything that is not the ringing.
So yeah, as you move to the back seat, just every movement you make hurts. You have this splitting migraine. You can't focus. I'm going to say with your failure, you feel like you have to do something to deal with this.
What can I do? I have a bad idea, a very bad idea, but it worked once.
Putting your head in a microwave.
No, but I mean, it's functionally the same. I was thinking about opening my mind to the psychic maelstrom.
You are in a Chaos Cultist car. They may have weird stuff if you can think of anything.
Okay. Yeah, Ocean looks through and sees if they have any kind of drugs, any like medical drugs or something.
Absolutely. Yes. You open the glove compartment and a bunch of actual pill bottles come out. But instead of useful labels for what they are, one, everything's mixed up in them. Each pill bottle, there's multiple segmented ones, but each one is mixed up. And they have different stickers on them.
Okay.
There's one with rainbow stickers. There's one with scratch and sniff blueberry stickers. There's one with Watchman stickers, the smiley face with a gunshot wound in its head. And there's one with Happy Taco Tuesday stickers.
So with Ocean having a headache, he's going to look at the Watchman one with the smiley face and the gunshot to the head. And it's like, maybe this will help with a headache. And he pops it open and looks at it and sees if he can identify what the pills inside are.
Oh, no way. Okay. These are all, yeah, they're all fun shapes at least.
Charles, I found some drugs in the back. I don't know what any of them are, but do you think maybe taking that might help my headache? It might help my tinnitus?
He shines a light in him and he goes, this seems risky, but if you need something, it could help, could hurt, don't know.
Well, I just need you to focus on the road. If something happens, here's how to get to Hamlet opening. Just take me with you. Just make sure I don't swallow my tongue or something.
Sounds good. If I need to, I'll hold your tongue.
And he takes the Watchman pills.
Okay.
At this point, he's desperate. He just wants something to drown out the noise.
As you take the Watchman pills, you feel a lot of things wash over you simultaneously. At first, it definitely feels worse. Ringing in your head gets sharper, and you were wrong, it can get louder. You know how like when your ears get stopped up, everything gets really loudish also, quieter and louder? That happens. Your vision starts fading, but then you feel like a soft warmthness come over you. And before long, you just pass out. And then you snap back to it and you're dangling from a rope in a moonwell, looking into someone who looks quite familiar.
Ocean, after you wake up, your eyes snap open as you suddenly jerk to a stop, and above you, you can see Book's hand clasped around your forearm, and his other arm wrapped several times around the rope that you are both now suspended from.
Thank you so much for listening to this week's episode of Oops, All Apocalypses. Next week, stay tuned to actually have an episode in the present instead of all of this weird flashback stuff. Check out that link tree in the episode description. You can subscribe to our fan club there where we'll send you fun emails with like Brady's in progress art, or maybe some merch deals, or maybe some request to join some fun stuff. You won't know if you don't try. The music and editing was performed by Stu Masterson. Brady McDonough made the logo and art, and Jacob salts his margarita glasses with Cheeto dust. Love you, bye. But if we come back in force with Margaret, and I forgot my daughter's name.